Hey everyone, my name is Dylan Adams, and my two most frequently asked questions are, what tuning do you use for slide, which is standard, and how do you set up your guitar for slide? And I usually reply with a pretty general answer, so today I'm going to go in detail with my exact measurements for my guitars and how I set them up. But as you can see from the title of this video, I wanted to take this opportunity to pose a question, not how do you set up your guitar for slide, but should you set up your guitar for slide? Because, spoiler, I kind of don't. So let's get the nerdy tech stuff out of the way first. We're at my workbench here, which my parents bought me for Christmas this past year. My dad and I spent an afternoon assembling this, which was a fun little father-son project. So just wanted to thank my parents for this and so much more. Love you guys. I do all of my own setup work, and I set up all of my guitars exactly the same, all with 11 to 49 gauge strings. So first of all, neck relief. I set it to about 5 to 8 thousandths of an inch, and 5 to 8 thousandths is right in between the kind of normal range for neck relief, which is about 5 to 12 thousandths for most guitars. So I don't give the neck any extra relief than normal to accommodate for slide playing. All right, so action. You guys are going to think I'm crazy for having such a specific measurement for this, but I use one of these StewMac string action gauges, not sponsored or anything, but measuring from the top of the 12th fret to the bottom of the string. My high E is 4.5 64ths, and the low E is 5.5 64ths. And I know we're literally talking about half of 64ths here, like what's that, like 128ths of inches, but I promise you guys I can feel it. And most techs would consider normal action or low-ish action to be 4 64ths for the high E and about 5 or 6 64ths for the low E. So I set my action basically normal as well. I also keep the nut slots on my guitars just whatever normal height is, so no specially made nut for slide or anything either. Alright, so it's time to address the title of this video. I am not only a slide guitarist, I am a guitarist. Despite what I've chosen to share online, and despite the fact that probably the strongest aspect of my playing is slide guitar, a serious chunk of my playing is completely without slide. And I love playing without slide. I mean, you know, fretted solos, chords, melodies, rhythm, all of it. In order to be a well-rounded musician and be a useful guitarist in Smokestack or whatever band I'm playing in, I have to spend a lot of my time not playing slide. And with that in mind, the last thing I want to have to do in the middle of a song or in between songs is walk over and change guitars just because I decide I want to play slide. I want to be able to put on a slide at any given moment in a song and take it off when I please. Or say I'm at home trying to write a song or a melody and I decide all of a sudden that I want to play it on slide. I don't want to have to get up, grab my slide guitar, play my slide part, and then come to a creative halt because all of a sudden the guitar I'm holding has inch-high action and 14 gauge strings. In that situation, I've put a creative barrier around myself by making my guitar impossible to play normally. And in addition to that, I just want to be able to access all of the tonal options that my different guitars offer, both with and without slide. I mean, like take this for example. This is my Mulecaster. A lot of people I've seen that own these, they set them up just for slide. They're their slide guitar. But when this came in with its setup from Mule, it was set up pretty much exactly how I described, with completely normal action and with 11s, but so it was basically set up how I want it. But this guitar has so many incredible and inspiring sounds that it can do with or without slide, so why would I want to limit myself to only playing slide on it? I want to have the option to get the sound that this thing does, or any other guitar that I have, in any situation that I might find myself in, whether I'm playing slide or not. So for those reasons, not a single one of my guitars are set up as a dedicated slide guitar. I mean, the only accommodation you could say that I make for slide is using 11 gauge strings. But then again, I mean, tons of people use 11s in E standard and, without ever touching a slide. One could also say, well, what about people who have guitars that are dedicated for certain tunings? Isn't that a creative barrier? Well, to that, I would say no, because in that situation, as long as your guitar is decently well set up, your only limitation is your understanding of those tunings, not a physical limitation imposed by the guitar because of the way you set it up. Now, this video is not intended to say, I'm so great for having low action, or to bash anyone for raising their action for playing slide. In my Slide 101 video, I even recommended that you should raise your action a little bit if you're just starting out on slide. Now, keyword a little bit. And ultimately, you have to do what works best for you, but if you have a decent amount of experience playing slide guitar, then I think you're doing yourself a disservice by using a guitar that has sky-high action. By lowering your action and working towards developing a lighter touch, you can open up so many more possibilities and really expand your playing, and even start to blur the lines between what people think of as slide guitar or non-slide guitar. So try my string gauge and setup measurements and see if they work for you, because I think it is a perfect middle ground for regular fretting, for playing slide, and for fretting behind the slide. I will say, if you're playing a Fender style 25.5-inch scale length guitar, maybe try 10s or 10.5s instead of 11s, because I will admit 11s on a Fender guitar can be pretty brutal for fretting. Most of my guitars are either 24 3/4 or like this one's 25-inch. So the 11s are doable on my guitars. All right, I think that about does it. So thank you guys so much for watching, as always. If you want to watch some more videos from someone who has a similar opinion about this as I do, go check out Matt's videos on the Mule Resophonic Guitars YouTube channel. A lot of his Mule School videos and just videos where he talks about his guitars in general share similar sentiments with this video, which is just yet another reason why I love all of his guitars. Matt is just awesome. Just go check him out. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell notification button to get notified whenever I post new videos. And yeah, thanks so much, and keep sliding.